Sounds like it remembered my volume preferences. Alright. I'm going to bring the music up a little bit and the master volume up just a little bit. Alright. I have a couple more ideas for what we could do for endings. Some of these are going to kind of take a little bit, so we'll do the first one with the one that I know is going to be a lot of waiting. And then while we wait, we'll plan what other things that we could be doing. Ooh, must have, shot through the planet. Alright. Alright. So, the first one that I want to try is... Well, we're going to look at the computer at some point in time here because it's probably going to have some good suggestions. We'll look at it... we'll get to the other planet. We need a little time to wait. Because we won't be able to immediately do what I was thinking of. We'll have to wait for the planets to get into the right position and everything. Zip right past the Addle Rock here. So, my first idea is to remove the warp core on Ash Twin, disabling the Ash Twin project, but stay inside the core, which is at least temporarily supernova-proof. We don't really know what the effect of that is going to be. I suspect it doesn't last all that long, and we wind up eventually, burning up, but that's the first thing that I want to try. And while we're waiting for that to happen, we can try out some other stuff. Switch to our landing camera here. I want to be off the plane of the equator. There we go. Do a little turn here so that we can see it. Oh yeah, King Trash Panda, thank you very much for the host. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, big nerd here, man. Big nerd. How are you doing? It's been a minute since I've seen you. Of course, that's mostly my fault. It's been a minute since I've been online and playing games. Interesting how gravity fluctuates here a little bit based on where the other planets are and stuff. Huh. Oh, man. Yeah, sleep issues are the worst. As somebody who suffers chronic insomnia, I feel you, bro. I really do. Wow, look at that. As the planet went overhead, that gravity went up to 2.6 at one point. Going to turn and rotate a little bit and then land. I just want to be facing that equator. We'll have to wait for it to unbury a couple of stations. It needs another 2 orbits before we can do that anyway. So here's something we haven't done in a very long time. Let's look at the computer log for the ship. I'm curious if there's anything that we haven't really accomplished yet. There is a new entry on the Interloper. I found the 2 missing members of the Nomai shuttle crew near a large ruptured stone that looks like it exploded from the inside. The Nomai traced the strange energy readings to a spherical stone casing filled with some sort of exotic matter. They determined the exotic matter was both lethal and under extreme pressure, and if the stone were to rupture, the exotic matter would rapidly expand, completely blanketing the solar system almost instantaneously. Which I think is probably what causes our star to go supernova. Maybe a lot of stars. One of the Nomai stayed behind to examine it while the other one rushed back to warn the rest of the Nomai, and we know for sure they did not make it in time. which sucks. Alright, so nothing new there. Nothing new there. Nothing new there. That's a lot of information on Brittle Hollow. Hollow's Lantern, of course. All the things on the Quantum Moon. Addle Rock. Ash Twin. See, so nothing new on any of these. There we are. The Sunless City. There is more to explore in the Sunless City. Okay, so we will definitely take a look at that at some point in time. Hey, we did a pretty good job. That is the Sun Tower right there, so that means right over that way should be the Twin Towers. Ooh. There goes the giant ball of icy death. There they are, right here. Hello, Seelybab. Yeah, man. I'm feeling the insomnia's bad stuff, man. Nothing worse than being just absolutely wrecked, tired, and not being able to sleep. Well, I say that. I suppose there are plenty worse things, but it is an awful feeling. What in... Oh, it's just dust. Okay. That's some other stuff that might be fun to explore, although very hard to find. There are definitely some items that are here in the solar system that exist, and yet we actually don't see them until we see them, if that makes sense. We don't see them until we get close enough. Like, we found one tiny little Voyager-looking like probe, and I have no idea how we're ever going to identify it again. But I'd love to find it again. What a tiny little solar system that we live in, though, right? That would be so ominous. I think you would get pretty dizzy living on a planet like this. Alright, so this run, my intention for this time through is... Oh, interesting. Not really tried to go through that way before. My intention for this run is to get to the core and hang out there after removing the advanced warp core powering the project. I've done more thinking about the time travel loop thing here, and I still think I'm right. I think the whole quantum superposition thing and stuff like that definitely points to the fact that when we deactivate the project, when we basically step off of this permanent merry-go-round, there's still a copy of our memories and information from somewhere, and it keeps getting sent back in time over and over and over. The big proof of this is how the signal for the Eye of the Universe is older than the solar system. I think. Although an alternate explanation for that could be that that location persists even between big crunches and big bangs. Like, the signal could have been all of us playing our music together, but I'm not quite sure that that's the case. The Eye is much bigger than our memories and everybody playing music. It is older than the universe itself. It is. So I think that means that our information, our memories that are being transmitted 22 minutes back in time, even when we elect to leave, we're just a copy of that data that was sent back in time over and over and over. And that loop persists. But I think that's only something that can be measured from outside of space and time, which we as a character cannot see, and we as players can. That's why I get to keep reloading saves and continuing the journey over and over. Even whenever we do something like break reality, and it ends the game, it's not entirely ended. We can still resume. Alright, I do want to make sure I've read everything here, even if we just kind of look over everything, because one of the things I want to do is make sure I have all of the achievements. So, yeah, you can't even get in here before about 8 minutes. Probe tracking module. I'm still interested. I have to assume that's Solanum, but I would like to go back to the probe tracking module at some point in time and see if Solanum was ever on that ship. I kind of feel like that's not the case. There's 3 statues here. One of them's ours. And one of them for sure is Gabbro, who does remember us. That's the one who's playing the flute on Giant's Deep. So I'm just going to highlight all these real quick. I'm not going to stick around to actually read them because we've read all of these before. I'm just trying to make sure that I have read all the things for achievement gathering purposes. $22. The Ash Twin Project. We can do it at will. But there's still nothing about Solanum on any of these. So it would be very strange for them to have launched... Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be very strange for them to have launched something with Solanum? We'll be back to read that here in a minute. I think that's pretty much all the stones. Why would you have launched Solanum's statue on their own? That's one of the things that I find interesting. So there's the core. Go ahead and read these. You're about to access the core while it's active. Removing it will disable the project. Artificial gravity control, so we'll turn that off. We'll turn it back on here in a minute so it'll be easier to read things, but... actually, pretty dim. I'm not sure that I can turn it back on without the power core, but we're going to try. We've not really seen an instance of the power crystals not working whenever there's power, because that's never been a concern for us before, so... there we are. Yeah, we restarted it. Now we'll just land so that we stay on it. Perfect. Put the warp core down. Solanum would not have been on the probe tracking module when the probe found the signal and the masks activated. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I agree. So I'm not entirely sure who's in the probe, whose memories would be in the probe tracking module. So we've read all of these before, but I'm going to take a chance to read through them here. So this is all Yarrow, and Poke, and Clary, who we have all seen before, so that's Brittle Hollow. And Timber Hearth. This won't have anything to do with Solanum either, I don't think. Yarrow, Yarrow, Oino, and Yarrow. And then Giant's Deep. So we are just waiting out this round inside the core, just to see what that ending possibly looks like. What do we have here? Raimi, Phlox, Raimi, Phlox, Raimi. Okay. I think... is that all the stones? Is it just these 3? We have Giant's Deep, Timber Hearth, Brittle Hollow. I don't think there are any projection stones on the other one. This is interesting because this one is here. It is one of the statues. Note that the eyes are still closed, though. Was there one more projection stone in here? No. Alright. So, the other possibility is these projection stones correspond to the locations where the statues are. I know that Timber Hearth and Giant's Deep make sense in a way. Brittle Hollow. Yeah, it's Mallow and Avens who are there. Lox and Daz made the statues. It's so quiet in here. Usually the music was getting really up and aggressive as we had left. But this time as we've elected not to leave. It's interesting. So I'm going to put these in here. I want to see where these go. I forget. All of these have locations that allowed me to see over here. So there's one memory statue here for sure. It's right over there. Kind of hard to see when we're on the planet, but it's right there. And then the one that we used was taken into Timber Hearth, into the observatory, which is interesting because this might point out where it was, archaeological dig exposition sort of why, but it's not where it would currently be, right? They found it down here in mining site 2B, I want to say. Which makes perfect sense. I mean, that's where on our planet you would find Nomai ruins. No, nothing in any of those. Alright, no scrolls or anything. Brittle Hollow. Now, Brittle Hollow is... I don't recall seeing a live statue there. It's also not where the orbital probe cannon is. This is the Black Hole Forge area. So maybe my theory about this being where the statues are doesn't fit. Hard to say. The other interesting thing is these pathways move. They don't exactly look like the eye, but do they mean anything? Notice how all of the eyes are lit up. But I know when we were in other locations and spying in here, sometimes only one eye would be lit up. I don't know. I could be making it too difficult, Sir Malay. It's true. But I mean, we have some time until the round ends, so all I really have right now is to think about what exactly all this might mean. What might this mean? I still think that I could get up there and put the warp core in at any point in time prior to the actual supernova, and it would work, keeping us from basically jumping off the time loop. Curious if there's anywhere that I've not explored here. We've seen those symbols. Those are the lights, and I think they're out because I took the warp core out. $16 minutes, so 6 minutes until the end of cycle. Probe tracking module, and it's interesting because it says the module, not the memory statues. So, how how would the probe tracking module... The masks are receiving data from the probe tracking module and the Giant's Deep and Timber Hearth. I understand those statues. I still don't understand the probe tracking module. I suppose if there was a statue on board the probe, it would be relaying its information to the tracking module and then back here. But I don't think there's a good way for me to, say, get onto it. We've kind of thought about it. We even got all the way out. We tracked it down and found it. Hovered off the side of it for a while, but there was no doorway. There was no hatch. There was no, like, ball-in track activation system or anything else like that that I noticed on it. So, who knows? I'm not entirely sure that Solanum is alive. Well, I mean, I'm not sure we are either, but I don't know if Solanum is because they were on the Quantum Moon when this happened. And so I think they're in some sort of superpositional state. Basically, what I'm wondering is if there's a fourth survivor. Of all the people I've talked to, only 2 seem to be aware of a time loop. Well, we are aware of a time loop. And Gabbro was. Huh. Doesn't sound good. I think the sand is getting low enough that we're starting to be able to hear it through the shell. I do remember that they said what would happen in the case of an error in the project. All of the statues and stuff would go ahead and activate as sort of a failsafe. Trying to remember exactly where they said that. I believe it was on Giant's Deep. But they talked about it being a failsafe just in case. And I think that's what happened, ultimately. The sun went supernova. It put enough of a charge into these solar collectors here that are being unveiled. It powered the warp core. And it used that charge to last just long enough to send the information 22 minutes back in time. And since the sun keeps exploding over and over and over, it keeps recycling the 22 minutes over and over. It's part of the reason I think the time loop exists even whenever we step outside of it by making these decisions. I think information's always being sent back in those 22-minute segments. So I'm very, very curious. And we've only found one person, Chert, who's on the Ember Twin, that really seems to notice anything about the stars dying or even acknowledges our sun going nova. I mean, maybe I should try talking to some of the others within the last few minutes or so. We haven't really, gone back to the Addle Rock to talk and see if they have anything at all to say as the sun's doing things. Okay, so here's what I think is happening with the time loop. At the end, whenever we get to the very end of the cycle and the sun explodes, it goes supernova and it powers the core. The core is able to use the memory statues and access that data, and it is sent back in time 22 minutes. That's not our bodies being sent back in time or anything. It's a backup of our memories that are being sent back in time. The Nomai even have a conversation, and I'm trying to remember where, but they're talking about the philosophy of it, and they say Is it the same thing as you being sent back in time, or is it just your memories being sent back in time over and over? And they arrived at the conclusion that functionally it's the same thing. Doesn't matter if your body is made of the same atoms or anything else like that. It's just the memories going back. You're restarting at the time that you looked into the statue the first time, and again at the end of the loop. So, over and over and over again, you keep getting sent back in time. You get a chance to do something different. If you do what we've done this time and removed the core, because we took it out and just tossed it on the ground over here, the information is not going to get sent back in time, right? But here's the thing. We know that our decisions that we make... Uh-oh. Let's see the end here real quick. I'll come back to it in a second. Okay, so they are glowing really brightly from the supernova energy. Seeing the lines. So what happened? Did it finally melt? You are dead. Okay. Okay. So, we made a decision on this loop of the timeline to not send the information back in time, right? That was the idea. So we took it out. Our memories were never transmitted back. But I have an option to resume the expedition. At some point in time, the memory information was transmitted back in time. And it kept doing so over and over and over again. When we make the decision not to send that information off, we've changed the timeline. There's two possibilities. The possibility where we don't do it, and the information is sent back in time, and the possibility where we do remove it, and the information is lost, because we die. We prevent that information from being sent back. So we've chosen the timeline where we don't survive, basically. That doesn't mean that the time loop has stopped happening. You aren't destroyed until the future. So that time loop is still in operation over and over and over, like a merry-go-round. All we've done is chosen to step off the merry-go-round by making a decision. But the information's still being sent back in time, 22 minutes, over and over and over. And I think that's why the Eye of the Universe signal is older than the universe. But it's also possible that's not the case. But the time loop keeps happening. We are just choosing a timeline where we don't experience it. That's what I think is happening anyway. It's hard to know for sure, and the game doesn't really tell us. It is interesting that we survived the supernova a lot longer than I thought we would. I really thought that it was only going to stay lit up for 5 extra seconds or something like that, just long enough to send the information back. We stared at the cores. Maybe I should have stared at the statues, but I'm not going to make us wait 22 minutes for that again. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Ember Twin now. So, if we die, if the universe ends this time, no big deal. The information will still be transmitted, and we will still survive. So, not a big deal. The big change, ultimately, is in us deciding whether we are going to end the time loop or not. They only have 22 minutes to fix things. Only the people who have stared into the statues will get those 22 minutes to fix things. And clearly everybody had not done that by the time that the Nomai died from presumably the ghost matter? a lot of them seem to have died, you know, in place. And the ghost matter is a pretty good explanation for why. From the comet, from the interloper. They said that if it was released, it would... all of the energy would basically spread across the solar system in an instant. And it would be very energetic and, you know, basically lethal. Where am I looking for? Oh, I want the city. We did not land at the right place. So I think that's what killed them, ultimately, is the interloper comet. Let's look for that gravity cannon. That's our way into the city. We're close. Yeah, there it is. So, what's really interesting is that nobody else was recorded in a statue at the time. Even though we know somebody on the moon of Giants Deep activated one because they were testing it. Raimi, maybe it was? But somebody activated it because there's a recording that's left there of like, oh, it opened its eyes. Yes, your brain is now recorded and stuff. And yet, only 3 of those statues are open. One of them's us. One of them is Gabbro. So that's 2 Hearthians. So who else is the other one? And why were none of the other Nomai connected at the moment of the event? That kind of makes their backup plan not very useful, huh? Stepping Stone Cave. We've done that. We're just kind of looking around. I know there's information here that we haven't gathered. For once, we finally looked at the computer and it told us there's still more stuff to learn here. This is where they're talking about the fossil fish cave and the rules of the game and how to find it, which is something we actually found kind of by accident. We're just exploring the caves previously and had a good time exploring and found our way up. I will say I just installed The Witness, which is mostly a puzzle game. And it has been so long since I've played it, I don't remember the solutions to all the puzzles and stuff. But it's kind of got this walk around, solve mysteries kind of a thing that I'm wanting to explore again. I thought about installing the Talos project. Let's see if there's any scrolls or anything here now. Because it's been a while since I've beaten that one too, and I don't really remember what's going on. It had a very puzzle-like, or a very Portal-like puzzle-solving aspect to it. Just make sure I've read all these. Anglerfish Overlook, Stepping Stone, High Energy Lab, Eye Shrine. Interesting that it's 3, 2, 1, 4. Should we build the Sun Station to power the Ash Twin project? I almost can't comprehend this is being suggested seriously. The purpose of the Sun Station goes against every standard we hold ourselves to and everything we believe in as a species. If we fail, and the probability of this is not insignificant, we will without question destroy ourselves, all life here, and the rest of this star system. I wish to protect these species. The potential annihilation of an entire star system is too severe a cost. We shouldn't build the Sun Station, no matter how badly we want the knowledge that comes with it. Fear of failure is a poor reason not to try. I believe if we're cautious, the Sun Station will work. I believe in pie. Pie. Poke, I'm deeply honored. Idea, I comprehend your position. However, if we aren't all certain the Sun Station will not cause destruction once we've built it, then I won't support its use. Are there other ways to generate this power? Theoretically, yes. Practically, no. I can't imagine discovering them in our lifetimes. I understand the proposal's unsettling, but the Sun Station must be built if we hope to complete the Ash Twin project. Okay. That actually did update our ship's log. Does that happen every time loop? I really can't recall. Trying to gather some information that we may have missed in our previous loops. I'm just hoping to build to a point where we can, well, achievement hunting, really. Just hoping to get all the lore bits. So there's no longer going to the high energy lab. It's too late for that, which is fine. We've been there. I know we've read everything there. It's probably going to be something like, you didn't talk to this person at this specific time period or something like that, which is fine. Stepping Stone Cave. It would be kind of cool if they would stay unhighlighted for every loop, or highlighted, just depending, but I think that would take... I think that would be too much, if I'm being honest. I wish I could figure out where this hole in the surface is, and if there's a way to fall through, but it's kind of a slit, a crack in the rock, so I don't think there's any way to get through that. Kind of like that. You see where it's just kind of sifting through. There's not actually a hole. Now there is a hole here, which leads us to this scroll wall over here. Who's been computing shuttle trajectories to the Sun Station? Don't worry, the station is in such a low stellar orbit that we've constructed a different, safer way to travel there from Ash Twin. That would be Pi. I told her that we wouldn't be traveling there by shuttle and that the Sun Station doesn't even have a landing pad, and she said she knew. It's a purely theoretical exercise on my part, Yarrow. Who doesn't love computing a good, low stellar orbit trajectory? Pi, I look forward to working with you, but I'm also relieved it will be easy to return to Ash Twin regularly. Yeah, that's true. Dangerous stuff. Alright, so... I feel like we've seen pretty much everything here, but let's look. Anglerfish fossil overlook. There's definitely a way out. Although we may not be able to make it through in time because that's the passage back. I don't think that it's safe to go that way anymore. Let's make sure we've read this symbol. It's amazing. Look inside the cave. Which is fun. I like... We'll just do it. This is fun. And I think that's how we're supposed to find it, is by basically getting all basketball-y like that. But we just found it when we were jetting up around and getting stuck on ledges. Not sure I understand everything you're saying, but the Nomai had already been dead for ages when the natural supernova happened. That's true. That's very true. But the information is repeated. I don't know how long the memories can stay in a statue. Right? If you go to... I want to say it's the Sun Station, but it's possible that it was on Ash Twin. But there is a place that you can go... Turn the lights back on. There is a place that you can go that will say something like, it has been 483,000 years or something like that since the Sun Station was activated. Insufficient power shutting down or something like that. is that a limit on... I mean, that's when it was constructed. That's how old the information from a Nomai statue... That's how old the information would have to be for them to have been alive at that time. And then... yeah, for them to have been alive at that time and then retained. But the information could stay in there for hundreds of thousands of years, right? It's a possibility. So, and keep in mind, the orbital probe cannon launches at the beginning of every loop, which is interesting. If it launches at every loop and explodes, it was primed, never used. Why does it activate at the beginning of every loop? Right? I remember they said they weren't going to use it. They had power problems. They wanted to focus on the sun station instead. So, okay, they wanted to do that. But what causes the firing of the orbital cannon at the beginning of every loop? I don't know yet. I don't think there's like... Well, I don't know. I suppose it might be possible for there to have been like a Nomai in stasis inside the pod, and their memories are retained inside the third mask inside the Ash Twin project, and when it reboots, it takes this old 400,000-year-old information and transmits it to this like Nomai that's in stasis, who's like, oh crap, our universe is about to end because this comet's going to release energy. Fire the cannon. I mean, it's possible, right? I don't know. Something causes it to launch at the beginning of every loop, and we don't know what. There's a third location that's transmitting information to the mask. That's not a mask. It's coming from the orbital probe station, which maybe we should go explore again. I mean, not this time loop. This stuff's screwed. It's real bad. Ow! I wonder how badly we can keep hurting ourselves before the loop ends. That was one of the achievements to get, is to take like 4,000 damage. If we land near Cactus, I can probably kind of eke out a bunch of damage from the Cactus. Should be some Cactus. There's some ruins over here, right? Somewhere over here. I thought there was a building with some ruins. Just hoping for a little surface cactus. There should be some... Alright, so we're at the South Pole. There should be some... Where? Near the High Energy Lab, I want to say. In fact, I'm almost certain there's some near the High Energy Lab. Ah, there we go. There's some cactus right there. And we're right above the High Energy Lab, so... There we go. Let's look at the computer here real quick. Alright, we got the last piece of information for the Sunless City. Nothing else actually wants us to look at it. Sun Station. After the failure of it, they took a break to investigate the newly arrived comet, right? According to the Nomai computer, our sun has reached the end of its natural life cycle. Yes! I'm still not convinced that the comet of that gas, that highly dangerous substance that we know is still inside of it. Well, we see the crystals are inside of it, and they say that it's inside the crystals, but maybe it burst open like a seed pod. So maybe it did release its entire payload. Hard to say for sure. I think we can take a little more damage than that. Yeah. There's a lot of questions that haven't been fully answered yet. And I'm into it. I don't even know if they are going to be answered, but it's fun thinking about it. I guess what it comes down to is I don't understand why the last transmission is not coming from a statue. It seems like it's coming from the probe control module. So, here's the other possibility. Maybe it's not storing a person's information at all. Maybe it's what's storing the information of the location of the eye. Remember that the probe module was shown as being launched in like 8 million different permutations. And maybe the system retains that data, even though it's meant to contain all the memories of a person. Maybe they are using it to store that data. Because otherwise, how would the probe system know that it's been 8 million combinations? That makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Is that it's not storing a third person's information at all. And that the probe cannon was set to automatic. Nobody in the probe, just the probe launching over and over and over, and at the end of 22 minutes it says, yes, I'm close and I found the eye, or no, I'm not. And then it just does this over and over and over again until it finds the right coordinates and gives them to us. Now that I think about it, I think that makes more sense. Don't you? Because otherwise, how would it know what those other permutations would do? There's no way for it to know all of the data from each time loop unless it's storing it in the core. It would only have information from each random launch, but not from all the random launches. So once we hit low, we can hit 2 more times. This is really silly to keep doing this, but the achievement's to take like 1,000 damage in a time loop, so that's what we're trying to do. Low, 1 more, critical. This may be our last time through. Because, well, I say that. Even though it sounds desperate and dangerous, it hasn't played the 90-second warning. So puncture low. 1, 2, down to critical. So interesting, even though I had the leaking sound effect, since I'm in an oxygen environment, my oxygen went back up. Oof. Sun's having some problems. So, okay. I think that explains that. I think it's just us and Gabbro. And I think that Solanum continues to exist only because they were exploring the quantum moon when this happened. That makes sense. And the ghost matter seed pod may have already exploded. So that may not be what's killing our sun. Although the crystals are still there, so it seems like there's probably something left behind. And we know for sure that it does get sucked into the sun. Actually, I'm not going to look at it right now, but it's already disappeared into the sun. How many times do I have to do this to heal 1,000 hit points, I wonder? I may have done it enough, and it may just not show up until I've completed the loop. Yeah, alright. So that makes sense for the information. The Eye of the Universe may be older. We've seen that end, kind of. We've seen an end where we go and we run into all of our buddies and we play music, and then 13.4 billion years pass by and we see some interesting stuff. But if the seed pod already exploded, that would explain the patches of ghost matter that we find all over. We know that it decays over time, but we know it decays over time, but it takes an extremely long time period to do so. But if it exploded 400,000 years ago, then that may have given most of it a chance to dissipate. That could be the half-life. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's go outside and greet the sun, I guess. Is there a stand in here? Oh, not really. Achievement unlocked, Die Hard. So I'm not entirely sure that the Nomai are right about this being the end of our sun's natural lifespan. Partially because of the interloper. We know that the comet disappears. And there is still some residual whatever inside of the crystal. But maybe not enough. But maybe it's enough to destabilize the sun. Here's the reason that I'm concerned that it's not just our sun. We're watching stars explode almost as a timer through the entire game. Why would they all be going out at the same time? That part doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Alright, we're coming up on the probe. But yeah, I think all the Nomai basically got baked by that thing releasing its pod. Here's part of the reason I think that. Remember when we found... I can't remember if it was Poke or Pie, but one of them had elected to stay behind, and one of them was going to go warn the others. And we know they barely made it out of that crevice and had all those crystal growths embedded in them. Here's the eye probe. Oh yeah. We're heading way out of the solar system. I don't really remember that huge glow hanging out there in the center last time. There we go. That seems to have disappeared now that I flew through it. So yeah. Empty. And interestingly enough, apparently made of partly, it looks kind of like partly of stone, partly of metal. Cool eye signal on the front of it. I'm a little disappointed that there's no door or anything that I can open on this. Seems like something that if you get to it, I mean, I'm glad I can get to it, but it seems like there should be something more interesting to it than just getting to it. I don't know. The only kind of cool thing that I see about it is that it's got the eye signal on it. This glyph right here. Alright, well, enough of that, I guess. So they all died from that explosion. Maybe our sun dies from a little residual stuff there. Maybe it's just hitting its lifespan nearly simultaneously with everything else. Are we... Alright, yeah, you know what, fine. Autopilot me back to the solar system, I guess. It does kind of look like a scorch mark, but that is their very mysterious symbol for the Eye of the Universe, which I'm unsure how that really works, right? They detect the eye. We have no clue of how their sensors or anything work, but we detect the eye, and when we got there, when we went through and jumped all the hoops and everything else like that to make that actually happen, it was laid out like that. It was a big maze. So, once you make it to the eye, I seem to recall it basically giving me a thing that was like, well, no matter what, I'm now beyond the range of whatever was going on, right? It's like beyond the range of the supernova at this point in time. So we were no longer limited to the 22-minute cycle, the 22-minute pattern. I want to say that maybe that was when we found Esker. Right? When we found the first Nomai upon returning. We're going to go ahead and abort the autopilot here in just a moment, because one of the things I don't want to do is actually fly into the stupid sun. Like, I want to miss it because it's the sun. But look at that. Look at those stars all going supernova out there. Those two explosions. You know, we remember things through every time loop so far. Why don't we go to Giant's Deep and talk to Gabbro? Gabbro's the only other person that remembers between time loops. And we have not come back to talk to Gabbro since we've done some of our explorations. Actually, we probably need to talk to the ones at every planet. They all have options that we can learn where we're like, hey, I've discovered something interesting, and it relates to whatever they're interested in. One of them's an astronomer, one of them just wants to relax because they're aware of a time loop. Another's a big scaredy pants that wants to know things about the planet that they're on because they don't want to leave. So I'm thinking, and I'm about out of ideas for things that can be tried for alternate endings without taking the ship back to the Eye. We only tried doing the Eye the once, and we went ahead on what I felt like was the easiest path, right? We didn't try very hard to explore things. We mostly just walked ahead and experienced what it had to offer. Which, I mean, that gets you one ending. But, you know, maybe you can get a different one if... I wonder how fast I can be going at this to not get destroyed whenever I, like... Wow. Honestly, with my luck, I would probably land on an island, which would destroy us. If we landed in the water, then obviously it's not a problem. I mean, unless I guess I'm going really fast. I don't know if there's a limit. It is, a miasma of incandescent plasma, thank you so much. I feel like that's something that they might be giants decided to do over. Didn't they do the sun is a massive incandescent gas, and then they did like a follow-up one that's like the sun is a miasma of incandescent plasma. Oof. Yeah. So see, ghost matter here. Dark bramble seed, just the best. Just the best. I still don't know what the purpose of this location is. Other than that, there's seeds here, and there seems to be something from dark bramble. But I don't know what the point of that island really is. Let's see. Alright, that's Gabbro's damaged ship. There is the orbital construction yard. This is Gabbro's home. I recognize this island. Ha! I landed hard enough that I messed up the landing gear. Hey, Gabbro. You know, I kind of wish I'd built a hammock here before we ended up in this time loop. How do you stay so calm in the face of repeated impending death? Deep breaths. No, seriously, I meditate. Want me to teach you? It'll be the next loop before you know it. I feel like I can say sure and it will end the loop, so we'll come back to that. We'll try that here in a moment. What did we find? The inside of the Statue Island, the source of the time loop. Yeah, there we go. This is some new stuff. Alright, so I found the source of the time loop. Wait, whoa, really? The Nomai carved out Ash Twin and built a time loop device inside? That is wild. Now we know what's causing the loop, and if it's caused by a device, that must mean that it had to be switched on, right? Huh. Hey, what do you think would happen if you turned off the time loop? Like, there's a part of me that thinks maybe you shouldn't, what with the sun blowing up and all, but then again, who wants to spend eternity being blown up by the sun? Well, I'm no time loop expert, but I'm just going to sit here and ponder the intricacies of time and space. Maybe take a nap, too, if I feel like it. I mean, you know, what else are you going to do with your time? Hello again. Again. I think this is the other one that we haven't said. We found Nomai masks inside the Ash Twin Project, because both of those would have to be inside. You're saying that the statues were made so memories could be sent back in time? I guess that makes sense, considering we both have our memories of every loop that we've gone through. Wait, then it's just our memories being sent back in time to us, right? Then are we really experiencing multiple time loops or not? That's pretty deep. Like, maybe our consciousnesses have been through all these loops, but maybe our bodies haven't, because technically the loops never happened. Meaning we're receiving memories of things that will never happen to us. Cool, huh? And that, I think, is actually kind of the right idea. It's information that's being sent back. Kind of like it's probably information that's being transmitted on Star Trek whenever you use a transporter. Not the actual atoms or molecules or anything else like that. So the time loop's always happening because it's not finished. Alright, so let's try doing the meditation thing. I think it'll just end the loop, but let's do it. Okay, close your eyes. Interesting. Okay. We've never done that before. What we have done is take a nap at a campfire. So that was cool. I guess let's go check the computer. Quantum Moon, you were right up there and so big. And now you're gone. I love how weird this game is. Alright. Let's look at the computer here. I think we've now looked at everything. We're just gonna make sure that there's nothing that says there's more to find at any location. Doesn't mean that I found every piece of information that I need. It just means that there's no canonical story elements that we still need to find. And I certainly could still have missed a conversation option or something along those lines. Yeah. Alright, cool. We seem to have completed everything that the computer wants us to do. Now, there is a rumor mode that I could go and turn on in the settings. It's something I kept off because I wanted it to give me things. Oh, cool. Now we have an option called meditate until next loop. We didn't have that before. We had wait until next loop, I think it was, or abort loop and try again. No, we didn't even. We had quit, resume and options. I don't think meditate until next loop was an option we have until we were taught that. That's kind of cool. All right, so where is it? Gameplay, I guess. Ship log rumor mode. Disable to minimize in-game guidance, which we have done. But let's take a look at what rumor mode looks like and see if there's anything that's really been missed. Oh, look at that. Everything connects. And it's the two members. Okay, so these are the different items, and these are based on their not on their locations, but their conceptual ideas. Okay. I don't see like any, I don't know if there are question marks or anything, but it doesn't seem like there's any obvious like blank entries either. I guess if you really wanted hardish mode, you would turn the ship log notifications off, but I feel like that's turning off like your oxygen meter and being expected to count your breaths when you can't actually feel it. All right. Did we look at everything on our home planet? I mean, I kind of feel like we haven't just walked all over our own planet. There's definitely some interesting sights and stuff, but I feel like there's some stuff that we didn't really look at. Here are the mountains. We've jetted up from these geysers before. Oh, yeah, don't break yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And then that led over here, which is the same place that we could land. It has its own largish geysers, right? Yeah, that's the place that we could land, which had these sites. One of which we could get to, yeah, by going behind the waterfall. And that leads us over here to the warp gate, which has not been activated yet, although we could use the Ash Twin project to maneuver between places. Here is the Dark Bramble Seed, right? No, that's the Quantum Grove. What is that location? I feel like maybe we've been here and maybe we haven't. Oh no. Nope, we can do a better job landing than that. What is this location? I feel like we've been here. The Quantum Grove. Church research notes property of Chert. I've detected a strange signal coming from somewhere within the grove in this crater. It's very similar to the signal emitted by the Quantum Moon, so it stands to reason the two signals are probably related. We don't know much about the Quantum Moon, seeing as no one's ever been able to land on it, but hopefully studying the signal in the grove will reveal more about it. Okay. So nothing specific there. And I think if we follow this, I don't think we've been through this little cave, but I think following this cave will probably bring us to the Quantum Grove. Yeah, looks like it does. Okay, so that's just a good way to get here to the Quantum Grove if you don't want to try landing in it. And we can also get there by, whoa, geyser. You know, one of the things that we haven't really done is experimented with the quantum rocks on other locations now that we know some new rules about taking camera snaps to make them stay still and things like that. But I don't know if there's anything to be gained there. Alright. Well, I can't think of other ending possibilities except to remove the core and go take the ship again and then try different choices when we're there, so that will be something we try on our next time loop. What will we do with our time on this time loop? Let's go try and find another place to land our ship that we shouldn't be able to be without a suit, and see if we can get there. I think Brittle Hollow is the easiest one. It's got trees on the surface, the Ember Twin. We also did that. I don't know if it's going to be possible on... well, we did it on Giant's Deep. No, we didn't do it on Giant's Deep. We were going to do it on... No, we did it on Giant's Deep because we got stuck. We landed in some trees on the Mask Island, and we got stuck. So... Dark Bramble is the last one, and I've got a feeling there's nowhere on Dark Bramble... Whoa. Whoa, what is that? What is that? What are we latched onto there? 30 kilometers away. Is that Whitehole Station? That's Whitehole Station. What is this? What's this? What's this? I can't believe my eyes. Alright. I think we may have managed to actually lock on to one of the little invisible-y kind of objects. I think maybe we'll find that little probe after all. This is not the Whitehole Station. It's over off to our left-hand side. So, Sealy Bob, were you here when we died inside the core? I feel like maybe you were. Go outside and look at this. Fig Backer Satellite.
Like a dirty shirt in the wash.
Successfully launched.
We're off like a dirty shirt in the wash.
Okay.
We're off like a dirty shirt in the wash.
Well, we found it.
We're off like a dirty shirt in the wash. We're off like a
Just like the first time, there was no way that I could really find it on my own. I'm amazed that when I was lifting off of the planet that it let me lock onto something that far away. But it seemed to have, like... I had spent a fair amount of time just panning around trying to find things, but it's a challenge. There's the interloper. That out there, I believe, is Whitehole Station, maybe. I could be wrong. There's a lot of bright spots right now because we're pretty far out. Let's look at the map. Where are we? Okay. Interestingly enough, we do seem to be moving a little bit. No, we don't, actually, now that I look at it. I think everything... No? Yeah, we're moving. Very slightly. I wonder what the orbit on this looks like. I think that's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if we're going to fall into the sun. It sure looks like we're kind of on a collision course, doesn't it? Maybe not. Kind of looks like we're on a collision course, though, if I'm being honest. So where else could we land? We could land on the Addle Rock. There is a little grove there. We didn't try landing on it because I didn't have the idea at the time, but we could try landing on the Addle Rock. And then, of course, there's Dark Bramble. Just don't think there's any viable place to land there. With the exception of we could make our way all the way into Feldspar and then kind of get above it and fall out and land in the tree garden. I wasn't really able to fly in there. The trees were too densely packed. Oh yeah. So we're not as close to the sun as this seems to indicate. Like, it's indicating that we're inside the sun? And we're not? So I don't know what to say. I have not landed on Sun Station yet, no. We are getting pretty close to the sun, though. I'll get a little closer to this thing. Because I'm curious if we slingshot out or what. Yeah. Well, there's Interloper, which is really cool because it's showing the two tails. It's showing the ionization trail sticking straight out, and then it's showing the actual particle trail. It's pretty cool. Alright, let's go see if we can land on the Addlerock real quick. Yeah, the people who did this were really into astronomy. They got a lot of things that they got right, even though they made this teeny little universe, little solar system for us to play in. I have to imagine that the Hearthians are pretty resistant to nausea, or they don't have ears that work like ours do. Their vestibular sense must not be bothered by being on a small planet and rotating rather quickly. We won't crash. Slow down! There we go. Alright. I don't recall spending a lot of time here the very first time, so I don't actually remember seeing this crash. Oh yeah, we hit that real hard. This must be their first one. Well, not their first one. Interesting how it's all metal. And also pretty low res, but I think this is how Esker got here. Not much of a pilot, that Esker. Alright. It would be interesting if it had a very specific set of coordinates, like if that coordinate was, you know, where one of the Apollos landed or something. Alright. Sorry, buddy. We're going to land really close. Because my goal is to undo the suit. Hey. What's up? Oh, hey, it's you! Ground control didn't tell me you were launching. Long time no see. Actually, I guess it's been a long time since I've seen anybody. Alright, so we've talked to him about everything here, I know. Do you think it's funny how we really hate burned marshmallows? Listen to him as I eat this. He goes, blah. Jadok, it is... Yes, it is my first time playing, but this is the end of my playthrough. So, I've already learned and done most of the things, but this is a continuation and kind of achievement hunting and just trying to do fun stuff with the game after I've discovered what I feel like is a good number of the endings. But maybe not all of them. Maybe not all of them at all. It's hard to say. Alright, let's get on our suit. We don't need to necessarily die anywhere else, but... we've done a number of interesting things. I mean, I guess that's really all I can say for sure. There may well be an ending that I don't know about yet either. I've specifically avoided looking for those kinds of things because I'm still exploring. I don't have all of the achievements that are publicly available, and there's still a whole bunch of hidden achievements. So, when I say a whole bunch, like 10 hidden achievements that I haven't figured out yet. So, I think there's still some stuff to explore in the game, but we've been to all the locations. I think I've found pretty much all the stuff that's been written. I think we've met pretty much all the people. We've gotten to the game in silly ways, and in heart-lifting ways, and in dumb, desperate, oh, I killed myself ways. We got to a 13.4 billion years later one after making it to the Eye. We jetted out of the solar system, so we basically just lived in our ship until our supplies ran out. Obviously, we've been supernovaed a few times. We've meditated. We've slept through the ending. Yeah. A number of things. I kind of want to... at some point in time, probably on the next loop, is what I was telling everybody, head back and see if there's anything that we can do differently. I've set some little goals for myself, like I want to land on every planet that I'm able to without a spacesuit. And I would like to, at some point in time, land on the Sun Station. I expect that will be a lot of dying over and over and over. But it's definitely one of my goals. I think this will lead us up to where that jellyfish was. Oof. I think that's where this is heading. It's up into that hollow section where the jellyfish was. To say for certain. What else have we done? We've been eaten by anglerfish many times. Well, not many times, but enough times to where I don't really want to be eaten by anglerfish anymore. We broke all of space and time. That was a good one. Nice little kazoo credits there. So basically, the real endings that we've explored are: you die, you leave the solar system, time passes 13 billion years, you break space-time, and you escape the solar system. Those are pretty much all the options that I think that we've found so far. Alright, we don't have a lot of time left. Let's go in here and see if we can find Feldspar, and see if we can land at Feldspar's camp. Turn our lights off here. And we are going to try and zip through this quickly because I don't think there's a lot of time left on the sun. Breaking Space-Time was a favorite of yours, Sealy Bob? That was a good one. That was a really good one. It took me by surprise. I do still have my controller plugged in, so that I can try doing some fine maneuvering. That may help us with the sun station, I don't know. Seems like the easiest time to land on it would be immediately. Ah, shit. we didn't really get to the end of that one, did we? Alright, that's fine. That's fine. So, let's go to the eye, and let's see if we can do something different. I'm extremely glad that we did go talk to Gabbro, however. Because Gabbro... Well, mostly because Gabbro helped confirm one of my theories, that the time loop's always happening, it's just the memories that are going back. I think that explains why we can basically keep playing the game and reload saves and things like that. Wish there was a mirror. I'm kind of curious what we look like. I'm sure somebody online has got a character model extractor, or the character's art was posted at some point in time, but, I mean, we don't even know our name. What was it they called us on... We were called Time Buddy by one of the, by one of our fellow travelers. He's like, "Are you ready to play, Time Buddy?" or something along those lines. It was what Gabbro called us, I want to say. Which confirms my thought that we are definitely a buddy. As in, oh, buddy. Sun station. I do kind of want to go back to the we're gonna get hit by the planet if I don't move. There we go. I do kind of want to go back to the sun station at one point in time. We've only been there twice. Once when we actually explored, and then once when I went outside briefly to try and see if I could figure out if there was a warp thing on top of it, and there wasn't, and there was no gravity plating, so we kind of just slid off. Waiting for the sand plume to start. There we go. We'll take a few orbits for anything interesting to develop there. So, alright. So there's some possibilities that we can do something different from the eye. All we really did the first time was walk straight into the middle of it, and I found a way to ascend to the great vortex in the sky, and then we just followed the directions that we were given, but I'm hoping we can figure out some sort of a different ending. I'm hoping that there's some other options there. So, alright, in my mind, we've got where we go to the Eye of the Universe, and we play the music, and all of that stuff. We found, like, Solanum, and Solanum played music with us, and that was cool. We have died multiple times. We've flown away from the solar system, and we just lived on our little ship. We broke space-time. So, yeah, I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is we can do a different option here with the end. I kind of want to go back inside the core of this thing because one thing that I was looking up at the warp core itself, and then we looked at the wall when it exploded. I'm kind of curious if something changes with, like, where the warp core was getting charged or something along those lines. Like, I was just looking at where the lines were coming from, hoping to see if I could see if the sun broke through, but I don't know. I don't really want to wait 22 minutes for what might well be the same ending, at least on stream. We might do it. We might do it, but I want to try some... I want to try doing the eye thing again first. Alright. Come on now. That's the sun station. There we go. There's the twins. Yeah, I landed pretty close. Landing on the sun station would be good. I wonder what else we could do. I think we've recalled all of the spaceships. That would be an interesting thing to try at some point in time, is using the Nomai shuttles to try and land on all the different planets. I mean, I basically figured out how they work. You know, you aim somewhat towards that thing, and as you get close, once it's kind of in that window, you can hit the land button, and it will try and land you on that planet. I think we only did that here, though? I seem to recall that we only did that here, on this planet. We recalled back to over there, and we landed on this planet with it. What other achievements do I have here to do? From the Hearth to the Moon, land the model rocket on Adelrock, and archaeologists complete the ship log, so we still haven't gotten all the log entries. And then 7 hidden achievements remaining. It's a lot. Do 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 do. I will say one thing I really love about this game are all the things that I got to learn. Not by having them explained to me, but by figuring them out on my own. Sort of a little explained to me by doing the quantum tutorials process, but how else would you teach that without just explaining everything? Yeah, 7 hidden is probably going to take a little while, but I imagine that they are somewhat obvious things. That's why I tried like having a marshmallow at every campsite and stuff like that. I was just kind of hoping it was something like, oh, okay, so there's an achievement for having a marshmallow at every campsite, or a hidden one for landing on every body that's there, or something along those lines. What do you think would happen? No, that wouldn't make any sense. I was just wondering what would happen if I was warping, because it takes a teeny fraction of a second to warp between like here and somewhere else, but I don't think that works here because this place lasts so much longer. It would almost have to be like warping between... Well, where could you do it? You could do it between the black hole at the center of Brittle Hollow, maybe, and the white hole station, but that was literally fractions of a second. That's what got them to try this 22-minute thing. I really think there is something to do with being inside of this thing at the end of the time loop, and I feel like maybe I just didn't do it. I was too focused on looking at the wall and stuff like that to try and gauge where the sun's direction was coming through to see if it like heated up or glowed or anything else like that. I wonder if something would have happened inside of that chamber. Something has to happen as the instigating event for going back in time, and I don't know what it is. If the music gets too loud, let me know, because we are going to have some interesting music the whole way out now. Alright, so pull out a little bit here. I just want to make sure I don't get smashed by planets. Where are you, Dark Bramble? Ha! There it is. That's the satellite again. I guess I've done it often enough now that I kind of have a sense for it floating around out there in the void. Your brain does not like that place at all. That place is definitely a very vertigo-centric place. It's got quote-unquote artificial gravity by spinning that thing on the inside of the shell. So like being on the inside of a merry-go-round or a carnival ride. But yeah, it's kind of a pain, and it's the only place I found that I can kind of get physics locked. If you don't turn off the artificial gravity, it's very hard to get back onto that platform. Because even though you're not on the platform that's actually spinning, it's not really simulating that. What it's doing is just applying gravity towards the outer wall, like on game terms. So even though I shouldn't have been pushed to the outside if I wasn't in contact with it, that's kind of how it worked. Lights off. Change frequencies here. I want distress beacons. That one. Shit. Get out my controller. I feel a rumble. Not following me, are you, buddy? Alright, good, he's not. Was weird. We must have been right on the event horizon because it seems like it started to suck me out. Nope. Go in. Stress beacon is that direction. Careful not to get hit by the rocks. That was amazing that one time that we got hit by the rock and it damaged literally every system on the ship and we were still able to salvage our ship. Kind of bonkers, but it was awesome. Keep our eyes out for those little lanterns. There we are. Poor Nomai. They decided they would come here because they detected the signal of their ship, and it turned out not so much. There we are, duplicate signal. I suspect there is no ending where you can actually save everybody, but I kind of want there to be. Too many fish. These fish are a species I don't really miss when the universe gets destroyed, if I'm being honest. Don't miss them. Hour 47. We may take a couple of dives at the sun station after this. Just for something different. I expect those to be very short rounds. I expect to go in over the sun station and just collide. I mean, what's the best way to really do it? There's not a lot of, like, intercept options that you have other than autopiloting, and I've never been able to target the sun thing for doing that. Because it's so close to the sun, it prefers to target the sun. I could maybe do like a close-ish pass and see if I could get it as it's coming up over the limb of the sun, but even that I don't really think would work. Because I think at that point in time, the gravitational pull of the sun will be so great that there's not much I can do. This is still very strange, and I'm still convinced that these are eggs for that species, but what is illuminating that? Alright. Wants to take a picture and I just want to rotate. Oh, going the wrong direction. Jet down just a little bit. There you go. And forward just a little. So autopilot's not really a thing that I can do, which also means match velocity is not a thing that I can do. So the easiest way to manage it may be to try and find a somewhat stable orbit that I can use to match velocity against the sun itself. You know, target the sun and basically see if I can hold velocity from it and wait for the thing to get under me. I don't know how far it has to be, like reach a stable point and then kind of start dropping as it comes up over the edge. The closer you are to the sun, the faster you're orbiting. We see that, for instance, with the comet. So, number one, insert the warp core. Hey, we've got the broken warp core. Which, there we go. Now I can set it down. Alright. Oh yeah. Oh, I guess we have to power the navigation station. And here's the thing I found trickiest. it seems like you have to match the hex lines, but you don't. I say trickiest. Certainly have had more tricky puzzles in the game, but it was the trickiest part of this launch, I guess. Okay, coordinates engaged. Crap, did I not do it right? Oh, that's right. You have to warp that. You have to engage that. It doesn't just raise that. Alright, we are way outside the solar system, and there's the eye. You can see the maze. And then whatever that is there at the center. Here we are. On the eye. The gravity is 2.4, so I can't even get off this to go back. Like, there is no going back to that afterwards. Interesting. Kind of walk around some of these other paths here and see. I can't even jetpack up a little bit. Yeah, looks like every pathway leads south. Which, I mean, makes sense. Yeah, there's not a lot of options here, it seems like. I did keep getting it wrong. Yeah, I didn't realize that I could cross over at that one specific location, that it didn't have to be perfectly aligned to the hex. Ugh. There's the quantum moon. Interesting. On this loop, well, I wonder if it happens every loop. It probably does. We've met Solanum, who is there, and they seems to exist outside of space and or time because they're on the quantum moon. I don't really see a whole lot of options other than to continue south. Let's try heading a little bit one way or the other. All sorts of quantum stones. Entire quantum land masses, it seems like. Yeah, there's not a lot going on there. We're still fenced in. So I find myself wondering, what is the eye? What is it for? What was here in the center? And maybe there are no answers. There might not be answers. I guess that's okay, right? Not everybody gets answers. We did not... Oh, actually, yeah, we did. We did try bringing the core to the Quantum Moon on a previous playthrough. Solanum doesn't do anything with it. Ah! 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 Bill and Ted style. Ooh. It doesn't like that. It said, nope, you start over. I feel a little bad, man. Esker's never on this. Hornfels is. And Gosson. And Feldspar and Slate. I have to assume Esker took the photo. The Nomai never got to see it for themselves, but thanks to their efforts and technology, a Hearthian was able to reach the eye of the universe. That's us. Outer Wilds Ventures was founded by Feldspar, Gosson, Slate, and Hornfels, which I think is what it said the first time, to explore a solar system at the end of the universe. That's certainly not something that we were told in the game. Yeah, I can't wait for movie night either. I really want Face the Music. I bought it, but I haven't watched it. And I really want to, but I'm not gonna. I'll wait. But it's tempting. Yeah, light faded out again. Okay. I figured it would, but it was worth a shot. At the end of its lifespan, our sun collapsed under its own gravity and then exploded in a violent supernova. True. Of all the life forms who will perish in the oncoming death of the universe, we will miss the anglerfish the least. Also very true. The Nomai who came to our solar system were following a signal from the eye of the universe. They perished when the interloper arrived, bringing with it the deadly substance we called ghost matter that flooded the entire solar system almost instantly and without warning. I guess we did talk about that previously, didn't we? There it goes. Did we just see ourselves? I think we just ran into ourselves. What? Okay, that's weird. There's an object here I can't go through. Ah, it hadn't appeared yet. Hey, Oscar. Do you hear music? I do. Gathered indeed. Hi, Rebek. It's not quite time yet. Pretty sure we'll need the others for this next part. We'll need, you know, everyone. No rush. Take your time. It might not even exist here. The Quiet Shade. Across Old Bark. In the Ancient Glade. It's always dark. Hey, Time Pal. So you're getting the band back together, huh? Go on and find the others. You don't need me yet, but you will. Time Pal, that's what he called him. I thought it was Time Buddy. Jellyfish. Alright, one last person to gather. It's interesting to have gone the whole game without hearing this music, because this is Nomai music. Kind of like how that's everything building on the Nomai in its way. And then we launch to go to get them. The track where they all play together is pretty fantastic. Last time we started with Esker whistling. I think we'll start with Solanum. Conscious observer has entered the eye. I wonder what happens now. I want to talk to everybody real quick. Oh, nope, he said time buddy. Okay, so he did say time buddy. Alright, you start. Song's new to me, but I'm honored to be a part of it. Wow, how long has it been since I got to make music with everyone around a campfire? I'm really happy we're all here. Even if it's over now, I had a good time learning, but I think the rules are about to change. I learned a lot by the end of everything. The past is past now, but that's okay. It's never really gone completely. The future is always built on the past, even if we won't get to see it. Still, it's time for something new now. I believe we've reached the end of our journey. All that remains is to collapse the innumerable possibilities before us. Are you ready to learn what comes next? Not yet. It's tempting to linger in this moment where every possibility still exists, but unless they are collapsed by an observer, they will never be more than possibilities. I tell you what, this has been really fun, and I got to help make something pretty cool, so I've got no complaints. I mean, not me exactly, but close enough. It's the kind of thing that makes you glad you stopped and smelled the pine trees along the way, you know? Got it a little close, don't you think? Well, it worked out all right in the end, I suppose. I hope there are beasties in this next one. Time to learn. I admire your curiosity, friend. Let's find out together. Bring back the kazoo. We may do that ending again. I got an idea. Technical support, the big red button. Do have another idea of another ending that we could try. And that would be, do you remember something Aflora said about it would be incredibly difficult to do this in one loop? I mean, I kind of want to try. I have one more idea for an ending. But I kind of want to see if I can do it in one shot. I suspect the coordinates are different every time. So, what would we need? What would we have to make this work? We have to get the launch codes for the tower. We need a distress signal, because that's how we navigate through to find our way to the gravesite in Dark Bramble. We would need to go and get down into Giant's Deep by finding the one tornado that spins the other direction and get the coordinates. I think that's all we have to do in advance. At that point in time, we can head back to the Twin Towers and try and warp through. Once we have the core, we just go. We just do the same ending that we did the first time. So, Distress Beacon. Distress Beacon to navigate, and the coordinates. Mantis people. And red, well, maybe not red trees, maybe that's just the fire, but mantis people. Alright, so my last idea for doing a unique ending is back to the Ash Twin and back to the core. I still don't think... It gave me a lot of time, a lot more time than I expected to need while I was in there just waiting to see if we could survive the end of the universe. So I think I missed something. Unfortunately, it will take us 22 minutes worth of, well, 14 minutes after we get there, I guess, because it takes 8 minutes to complete. But yeah, we would need a distress signal to be able to navigate through Dark Bramble. Alright, you know what? I got an idea. Alright, let's see. What would be the fastest distress signal that we can get to? Knowing that where we've got to go. There's a distress signal that is on the surface of Dark Bramble. Giant Steep? No, not Giant Steep. Where is Brittle Hollow? There's a distress signal here. I mean, we're not going to get it all in one loop because we've obviously done this loop a few times. We've got about 8 minutes to kill. So... oh yeah, we're even basically on target for it. This may be slightly more dangerous than going to Ember. Ember would also work. Because there's one there as well. So, my idea is to come here. We would have to get close enough to... yeah, I think Ember may be easier. This isn't that hard, but I'm expecting it to be like seconds. So here, scope it. Is it actually this? Where is the actual signal come from? Oh, never mind, I was on the wrong... there it is. So, escape pod, okay. No problem. So I can come here, or it might be easier on Ember. So I can get in. I can get that. The good thing about coming here is that it puts me a little closer to... come on now. Well, okay. Landing under a tree was a giant mistake. I don't mind telling you that. Alright, alright, where is Bramble? There's a chance that Dark Bramble will be closer if we come out here. It's not at all guaranteed. It could actually be significantly or not Dark Bramble, Giant Steep. So, alright, we're heading for Giant Steep. That's the next thing that we have to do. Because we would have to go get coordinates. Well, Boo, let me tell you my idea for the for what I want to do. I want to go and be inside of the Ash Core with the Warp Core removed. Actually, no. Let's be in there without it removed. I took it out and it obviously didn't do anything. Maybe we can take the Warp Core out while it's activating. The other option is, presumably it does something to send information back in time. Information is sent back in time through a black hole. So if we could jump physically into the black hole they tried to send the information through, we would probably fuck up reality real bad, because we would be actual matter that's being sent back instead. So that strikes me as another real possibility. Oh yeah, we're not going to do it like that. It'll be easier to see if we're flying horizontally. So, yeah, let's try that. But right now, I am just trying to get below. Get to a jellyfish in time. I haven't counted how many minutes are available on this run, but 8 minutes is just the earliest that we can get there. It does not mean that that's the only time that we can get there. But yeah, that's kind of the goal. Whoa! I guess we have to get below those outer lightning rods. Good to know. Alright, so we'll hang out inside here. So the jellyfish does its thing. Oh, okay, cool. There is kind of a equilibrium point here in the center. That's easy enough. Yeah, well, it was play games or watch, so... Problem with actually watching a SpaceX mission is that launches get scrubbed a lot. Alright, and we're through. Come on, go down. There we go. Alright. This is something we'll have to practice numerous times, I think, but this is a good opportunity to do it because we don't actually have to complete the last part. Alright, so we're inside here. The coordinates are, I want to say, the last location for the ball. Nope, not there. Keep going. The first one pretty much just shows the eye everywhere, but if we come all the way to the end, yep, there's the coordinates. And really, I think all we have to do is basically get to this point, and it would do like a log updated thing. Yeah, see, retrieving coordinates stored from Ash Twin. So that's 100% what's happening, is that it is saying, ugh, that's kind of a pain in the ass. You guys are gravity masters, and then you chose to put that right there dead in the center, huh? You wieners. You wieners. Alright, and we gotta find a jellyfish ride up. Right? I don't think we were able to just, like, fly upwards through it. I mean, I guess we can try. I guess I'm a little curious about the speed of everything. I think we can maybe fly through it ascending. Yeah, we can. Oh, that's gonna get our ship before we can get to it. Come on. Alright, so I don't know how long this has taken, but we don't need the whole 22 minutes, I don't think, to get to the point where we warp. I think we could do it in one. It doesn't take that much planning. I need a distress beacon, and I need the coordinates. And both of those are here, which are pretty easy to get to. And then we got to get to the twins, so let's point towards Ash Twin. We're going to catch it, oops, catch it on the other side. No, we might be able to catch it on this side. But yeah, alright, so this is my goal for this one, is we're not going to remove the warp core. We're going to stay inside so it activates. And if there is a black hole, which I strongly suspect, because that's how they send the information back in time, we're going to try and jump into it. That's my goal, is to actually try and send matter 22 minutes back in time. I don't know if it would work, because I assume that matter takes a lot more than information in terms of energy to do it, but maybe it does. That's the sun one. There's the towers. All right, cool. This time it wouldn't matter so much, but we do need to make sure that we land on a location that's not going to like get our ship sucked away, because we'll need it quickly. Alright. Should have no problem warping to the inside. I'm curious how long this has taken. This is pretty close to the path that I would take. I guess I could hit Ember and then go to Giant's Deep and then come back to Ash Twin and then go to Dark Bramble. But yeah, we need a distress beacon because we need to be able to hear where that crashed ship is on the second level in order to be able to shoot the seed through. Or I guess we could maybe not know it. We don't know if the game cheats or doesn't. Like, we don't know if it's like, well, you've done this thing, so whenever you go through, you can actually follow the path. It's entirely possible that if you don't know, if you haven't discovered those signals, that you go through and it cheats and it's like you're just lost and sends you back over and over. Hard to say. But I hear the wind coming, so we're about to be able to warp over. What else could we do? One thing we've never really done, with the exception of the Advanced Warp Core, is try and take items from one planet to another. There's only a few things that we can interact with. We can interact with scrolls, we can interact with the pressure plates, we can interact with the black hole cores and white hole cores. Alright, how long did this take? 10 minutes. So it took like 13 minutes. That's plenty of time. I mean, enough to get to the ship. We just went through the ending. I think we could do it in one loop. Alright. So, the only thing I really want to do for sure here is stop the artificial gravity and open the inner core. Just so that we have the ability to maneuver. So it's open. We're going to disable this. Here's what I expect to happen. I expect all this energy to come here to the center. I expect it to make a black hole right here in the center. And I expect that black hole has the information from the masks. Right? Look how they're all kind of lined up with it. I expect them to basically broadcast their energy out the top line of this. See how they're all bent in a little bit and targeting? So I think that's where it's going to go. Interesting that they only built 8 masks. I mean, there weren't a whole lot of Nomai, but they only built 8 masks. Minutes. So I expect to see a black hole there, and we're going to try and transmit ourselves backwards. It's the only other thing I can think of to do here, because the first time we pulled out the core just to see if we could survive on the inside for a period of time for the supernova to go, but like they said, it only holds it off for a little while. And after, I don't know, 30 seconds or so of supernova time, it ended. But that would be a fair amount of time for us to be able to, say, get in here and fly through a black hole in the center. Wait. Yeah, black holes. Black holes are the input. White holes are the output. I don't want to get too close. I kind of want to see it appear, but I kind of want to stop drifting into the walls. music in this game is good. Alright, while we've got a couple of minutes, I am going to get a refill on my beverage, so watch, enjoy. Still deciding on the next game that he wants to play, says Boo. There was one that I wanted to play that I saw come out recently. I downloaded the demo of it, and I haven't played it yet. It's called, like, Spiritlands or Deathlands or something like that. I don't know. I'm torn. On the one hand, it looks like it's maybe this kind of, like, Grim Fandango-like kind of a thing. It sounds like you're going to be guiding people through the afterlife. On the other hand, if it's too similar to Grim Fandango, it hasn't done anything new, and maybe I should just play Grim Fandango. Or if it's really different, then maybe they won't really satisfy that itch. I did download The Witness again. That's really heavily puzzle-oriented, and I don't know if that would be at all satisfying to watch on a stream. What else? I've got some itch.io games that I could play. I've got Riftlands, which I've got downloaded but haven't played yet. I was waiting for some updates to come out, and it's had several updates already. What else? Let's see if we can get back down here to the timer. I want to see how much time we have left. Four minutes. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna just kind of hang out here. I'm hoping to see these things kind of light up. How terrible would it have been if the probe wasn't the one that, or was the one that fell? Let's see. What else did I have? See, I really liked The Witness, but I played it very much in terms of do a few puzzles and then go to bed. Like, I didn't just sit down and do nothing but puzzles for 4 hours. I think that would melt even my brain. So, there was something else I had downloaded that I was... maybe I mentioned it. The Soulless Project. It seems kind of in this vein. Crash on a mysterious alien world, wander around solving puzzles and the mystery of why you're there. I'll have to look at the itch.io games. I have a bunch of them. Okay, I think we're getting really close. 2 minutes. Alright. This would be the 90-second warning. I'm listening for the music to start, so that we have a guaranteed, like, if it's 60 seconds or what. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, about 75 seconds. Okay. Here's what I expect to happen. I expect these lines to light up and shoot energy here, broadcast beam style. I think there's a black hole that it's sending it back through, although it really makes me wonder where the receiving white hole is at. Maybe we'll find out by appearing there. But we're going to try and send ourselves physically backwards in time, not just the information from the mask. I did really appreciate how the Witness did teach you things by giving you an increased sequence. Some of the puzzles lasted longer than I wanted them to. Once I got the idea, I was like, all right, you don't have to give me 20 of those puzzles. 10 or 15 would have been fine. But I mean, it's a game for people who like puzzles, so. I have another one that's kind of a string wrapping game, very much in the same idea of it, which is why I re-downloaded The Witness. Alright. These things are going to light up here when it goes supernova. Alright, so they're fully lit. Come on, guys. Yep, do it! Go, 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 go! Okay. What has happened? I'm very curious. Load it up, baby. Oh. Well. Okay. Never mind then. I think I expected a little more from that. What could we do? I guess we could... So interesting. I don't know if or where there is a Whitehole station that we ever come from is. Like, where is the information received? There's no, like, white hole inside of the Ash Twin that I'm aware of. No, okay, that's not good. You are here and you are here? Alright, yeah, we're gonna have to go try and get into the Ash Twin then, or into the core again. Because that did just show that there's two You Are Heres. Yeah, exactly, Sealy Bob. There's two You Are Heres. That's gonna be interesting. Alright, let's try and meet it on the other side of the sun. We won't meet it on this side. I'm assuming that means the information is received inside the Ash Twin, although we've never seen a white hole there. I mean, maybe it comes through just the very small white hole that's there at the warp core. Maybe it's broadcast back through the White Hole station, but we know that one's paired with Brittle Hollow. So I'm not real sure what's going on. Anyway, our body, I guess, is here. It gives me a You Are Here, so... I'm lost for what other endings might be after this. We've jetted out of the universe, we've died, we've broken space-time. We've tried staying inside of the thing, we've gone to the Eye. We stayed on the Quantum Moon forever with Solanum. So, I do want to try doing a single loop playthrough, though. I think I've got everything that I would need to do that, and we were able to make it back after only 10 minutes, which is plenty of time to go navigate that stuff for the first time. how many copies that you can make. Interesting. It would probably always be in it. I have the option to start a new profile, which is something I think I would have to do anyway in order to do a one-cycle playthrough. Because the information's retained from cycle to cycle. So I would obviously have to have an entirely new save profile in order to be able to even attempt it. There we go. So, okay. Thinking this through. Because we've done this. It may be easier to land on Ember. I don't know. But either way, all we have to do. Distress signal. Go to the core of the Giant's Deep to get the coordinates. Come back here. Get the core. Go to Dark Bramble as normal. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. Not really sure I landed far... Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I was about to say, I'm not really sure I landed far enough away through, but this may be our last playthrough on this save. Oh yeah, that's fine. Hi, ship. Since I can jetpack to the other planet, I guess I'm not really that concerned about it. Unless I guess it doesn't land on the planet, but I think it will. It'll land somewhere. Yeah, because it'll keep getting pulled back there in the center and tossed up. No sweat. No sweat, my pet. Alright. Well, remember when I said that there was no mirrors and I kind of wanted to see what we looked like? Maybe we'll have a chance now. Of course, we'll be in a spacesuit. And we did see ourselves very briefly on the eye ending. Or maybe we didn't go through. But I bet we did. It would be weird if they were moving around with some sort of, like, AI kind of a thing, and they're like, hey, me? And you could have a conversation with them. I don't buy the idea that we're actually breaking causality by doing this, because I think the information it sends back is literally just an information. But could be some sort of destructive information scan where it only is able to copy those memories in a way that hurts you, because they never talked about being able to revive somebody with the memories that I recall. When it was discussed on Giant's Deep, they're like, it made a copy of the memories, but I don't recall them ever saying anything about trying to back somebody up or send that information back in time. But maybe they did. I don't know. Without the sun going supernova, they only could have done it for seconds. It might break if you don't complete the time loop. That would be interesting. I'm not sure how it would know that I've done that. It might be perfectly stable until I remove the core, opting out of the time loop on this time, but... Okay, so there is this little white hole here where we arrive, and maybe that's it. But... I mean... We can keep looking, but I don't see, like... Oh. Talk to self. Whoa, what the heck happened? This is the greatest day of my life. Are you me from the last loop? This got weird in a hurry, or... Ah! Ah! Are you me from the last loop? I think so. I started this current loop by popping out of a white hole inside the Ash Twin project. And I started at the campfire like usual. Makes sense to me, seeing how jumping into the black hole is definitely what created two of us. Hey, what do you think happens if you jump into the black hole again at the end of this loop? Well, if we don't, then where did you come from? That's a good point. I mean, I feel as real as ever. I don't think I'm a figment of your imagination or anything like that. I'm no expert, but I think you seem pretty real to me too. So I guess there's just two of us now. At any rate, it's been good talking to you, me. Incredibly strange, but good. See you around. How about... Ah! What have we done? Jumping into that black hole was a terrible idea. Ah! We just need to get this out of my system. Ah! This is the greatest day of my life. Sure it is. Two of us is great and all, but is it the greatest? What about the day where we, what about that one? Oh, right. Yeah, that one's probably still the greatest. I know, right? But today is probably the next greatest day of our life after that. Like, what other memories do you... Or wait, can you read my mind? Definitely no, I just have the same memories, except for this loop, I mean. I started this loop by popping out of a white hole, yep. Since in the loop before this one, I jumped into the black hole. So it probably exists as a white hole, but it probably only lasts, I don't know, 10 seconds or something like that. If you don't jump into it, that's a good question. We're in thoroughly uncharted territory at this point. Truly, we are the Feldspar of weird time stuff. Oh geez, Feldspar would just use the time loop to try increasingly outlandish stunts, wouldn't they? Might be a good thing if they weren't aware of it. At any rate, it's been good talking to you. Incredibly strange, but good. Let's ask just what the heck happened. If you're me, then I'm as confused as you are. Do you think it's okay that there's two of us? Well, we're talking to each other, nothing exploded yet. Gosan always says that means the date's going well. Yeah, but Slate's definition of a boring date. So it makes sense that Gossen and Slate never dated. That and the whole mishap with Gossen's eye. Oh, yeah, the eye thing. Yeah, that's... yeah. I very much do not want to discuss that. Nor do I. Hasty segue? Hasty segue. So what do you think happens if you don't jump into the black hole again at the end of this time loop? Guess we'll find out. I guess so. At any rate, it's been good talking to you, me. Alright, so... we can either not jump into the black hole, or we could just pull the core. I figured there had to be something special going on in here. It's such a hard place to get to, and it's slightly protected from the supernova. And it gave me a period of time to do something even though I had pulled the warp core. Whole little jetpack and everything taken off. Alright. 10 minutes until the end of the cycle transmission. So there's really two options. I think the more interesting one would be to hang out here with ourselves until everything goes. Because they could, and they won't, but they probably could stop the whole thing from happening by jumping into the black hole themselves. Right? If it opened and there's a black hole and I decided not to go anywhere, they could put on a backpack and jet through it in order to keep the causal loop going. So I do want to at least open the doors. I want to be able to see the black hole. I'm not sure we can see it without that, so... The screaming one was pretty good. It was just a lot of screaming. So we've got rope there. I don't think we've ever used that for anything. I've never noticed us tether ourselves to anything, and we tie it on our little flask. Did we do all of these? This got weird in a hurry. Yeah, duplicating living beings wasn't what the Nomai had in mind when they built it. I wonder if there being two of us screws everything up. Well, we're talking to each other and nothing's exploded. Maybe the universe doesn't mind two of us. Hopefully not. Besides, an extra version of us is definitely better than if we'd created an extra anglerfish or something. Agreed, we're charming and we have fewer teeth. That probably counts for something. Guess we'll find out. Why would we lie to ourselves? I feel really good that I kind of saw where all this was going, right? These masks and everything beaming up there and sending their information into the black hole in the middle. I bet that black hole lasts for about 10 or 20 seconds. And I would bet, given the game designers and everything they've done here so far, if you had a way to cheat and freeze time at the beginning of the game, if you came here and opened it up and the timer hadn't progressed, I bet you would find a white hole in there. I mean, there's no sane way to make it there. It takes minutes to be able to even teleport down here, which is the only way down here. But I bet if you had like a no-clip cheat or a freeze time cheat, you could come in here and find a white hole. Yeah, maybe a little off to the side like that. The most frustrating part is I have faced the music downloaded and not watching. Yeah, I feel you. Silly Bob and I both have also purchased it. Neither one of us have watched it. I've rewatched the trailer a few times. I gotta say, like, the actresses that they have to play their daughters are pretty adorable playing their daughters. Like, Samara Weaving is just beautiful, and to watch her like do this double chin kind of thing, like sucking Cheetos dust off her fingers and stuff like that, is hilarious. So I'm actually, was that the trailer, or was that one of the like 30-second clips? I can't remember. I told myself I wasn't going to watch any of that stuff, and then I watched all of that stuff, so. Don't overlook my bot. I work out all the time, and reaping burns lots of calories. Seems like it's not really rehashing the same jokes that most sequels tend to do, like how Bogus Journey wasn't a rehash. You know, I bet that's probably true. I hope it's true. I bet Solomon and Matheson are in it, though. Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson. I did not realize that Chris Matheson is Robert Matheson's son, as in I Am Legend Matheson. That was his dad that wrote that. But I bet they're in it again. They were those waiters, and then they were the guys at the seance, so I bet they're in it somewhere. But I hope it doesn't rehash everything. Like, I'm cool if they're doing like air guitars and stuff like that, but if they're doing like a joke by joke refresh of it, I wouldn't be too tickled with that. I don't know. I'm real curious to see what Wolverine thinks about it, because it's a really dumb movie for his grumpy "I am an old man" thing to kick in, but we'll see. I really doubt they will too. I don't think that Winters and Reeves would have agreed to do it if it was just a remake of a previous movie that they had done. There's so much territory that you could cover with something like you're 50 years old and you still haven't done the thing that you were fated to do. Right? There's just so much interesting territory that you could cover there. Not anywhere near that old, and yet I kind of feel that pressure, right? That whole, you gotta accomplish X, Y, and Z. For some people it's buying a house and having kids, and some people it's career success, and for some people it's uniting all of humanity under the song. I'm sad that George didn't get to be in it either. I really hope that they don't CG him like they did with Tarkin or anything, but I feel like if that had happened, I'd have already accidentally seen something on the internet about, oh no, CG George Carlin is terrible or something along those lines, so I don't know. I'm also kind of hoping that they don't, go back to the first movie and... Remember how we were asking who's operating, the stage lights and stuff like that? I'm hoping it's not them. Right? I feel like that robs Bill and Ted of a little bit of their... coolness, and robs the new characters of their chance to have their own coolness. So... I mean, yeah, they might Harold Ramis him, right? Where they have a statue. I mean, there could be a Rufus statue. We've already seen a Bill and Ted University statue. It seemed to be made out of, chocolate. Let's just scream a lot. Ah! Well, I needed to know what would happen. Okay, I'm calm. Ah! More screaming. More screaming. More screaming. More screaming. More screaming. Oh, he's still freaked out. I feel a little bad now. I'm hoping to maybe be able to talk to him while the black hole is open, but we'll see. Alright, what do you think? Jump in it for a third person, or don't? I think don't. I don't think that there's, gonna just be a row of me's along the wall. Alright, supercharging. Black hole is open. Information transmitted. See how much time it gave us to do that. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah! Yep, we broke it again. You destroyed the fabric of space-time. I agree. I bet that doesn't happen if you elect not to continue the time loop. I'm not going to do it, but I'm kind of curious what happens if you set it up so that there is a clone you, and then you remove the warp core and you fly to the eye, which seems to be outside of the limits of causality. Does space-time still break even though you're in the eye? Who knows? Alright. 1 second here. Alright. So, what I'm going to try and do is create a new profile. We'll call it One Shot. New expedition. Alright, you guys. Let's see if we can do it in one loop. I don't really need to talk to anybody. I just need to get to the statue point so that we can get the launch codes and stuff. Now, time has not started yet. You can literally stay in this state right here for hours. This is not a problem. It's not until... The timer doesn't start until the statue activates. At that point in time, you're on the timer. So, alright, we have to go and get a distress... We have to scan a distress signal. What's interesting is this... Oh, I know why it's doing it, because he's throwing pebbles at it. I was going to say this is the only location that flares up green like that with ghost matter, but that's because he's throwing rocks into it. Never mind. So, yeah, nothing about the end of the universe on that one. I got a curiosity here. Do they have any open displays? No. Bummer. Okay, because I was thinking that we could maybe go get an object like, one of the black holes or white hole cores, or even the advanced warp core, and bring it back and be like, here, we brought back something nobody ever has. Alright, hi, Hornfels. First astronaut. Here's our translator tool. We are, you know what? I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to point my bat right out of the park here. I want to go somewhere that no one's ever gone before. No one's ever landed on the Interloper before. Perhaps you'll be the first. Nope. Ready to get off this rock. Part of me wonders if there's a way out of here without activating the statue once I have the codes. But since I can't have had a jetpack at this point in time, there's no way for me to... I mean, maybe there's a way to, like, no-clip out of here or something, but... I really wish I knew what caused this to activate at this point in time. Alright, we gotta go. We don't have a whole lot of time. Alright. We need a distress beacon, which we're going to be able to get. We need the codes. Then we need to get the warp core. I think that's it. We need the codes to be able to navigate through Bramble. We need the core to be able to power it up. We need the codes in order to be able to go to the eye. Whichever planet I see first is the one that I'm going to go for. Yep, this one here. Alright, Brittle Hollow it is. Right. Slow down a little bit here. Missed the lantern. Whoa! I hit that a little harder than I meant to. Ship's landing gear damaged. That's fine. It's an easy fix. Oh shit. Stop. Options. Jetpack boost mode to auto. Okay, we got the escape pod signal, so we have a distress beacon frequency now. Alright, we need Giants Deep now. There it is. And all we're looking for... Man, how fast can we hit this? As long as we don't hit the, I mean, honestly, as long as we don't hit land, we're fine. Although, maybe, if I'm being honest, 900 or 300 meters a second may be a bit much. But it's 20 kilometers away. Keep going. I wonder how fast you have to fly at this thing to go through the current. Like, if I'm going at this thing at, like, 2,000 meters per second, will I manage to penetrate the current? Oh, God. Yeah! We went pretty fast in there, but not so fast. Alright, who's going the wrong way? There you are, right there. There's a jellyfish over there. Oh, shit! No, no, no! Get up! Yeah, there we go. Alright, that's a little bit of a problem. I don't know if we're going to take so much damage leaving now that we are actually hurt. We may have to follow a jellyfish up. That's problematic. Come on, keep going down. Good job, Time Buddy. That's just what I'm going to call him now, Time Buddy. This is very much like trying to, Interesting, it's the same code. I wonder if we actually have to have had the code, or if just knowing it would have been enough. Damn it, come on, man. Oh, that worked a little better. Not using the jetpack and just jumping. Alright. We're still gonna... I guess we're gonna try and swim through the electrical current. I think we can probably take it. It wasn't much of a charge when we went through. We didn't actually take, like, any red body damage that I could detect, so... hopefully we don't die. Whoa, okay. We're badly hurt, but we lived. I mean, it didn't even come up and say life support low or critical yet, so... Alright. Healed, refueled. Alright, we've got the code. We got the tools, we got the talent. Alright, so we've got the code, we've got the navigation beacon. All I need now is the actual warp core. And to, I guess, not hit the spaceship as we leave, huh? Ash twin, please. Well, close enough. Need to slow down a little bit. I don't want to go so fast that we just blow through and fly into the sun. I do kind of want to see how fast I can hit Giants Deep now, though. See if I can get myself under the waves. I bet I can. I bet if I'm going like 2 kilometers a second, I go straight through it. Whoa! Okay, so a little damage. It's fine. That is not our happy place. There's the sun tower. Okay. There it is. Actually, it looks like it was just exposed to this loop. I think we're actually doing fine. I think we're running 1 orbit behind when we come here and just wait. I feel good about it. Feel real good about it. A little disappointed, if I'm being honest, that the coordinates were the same coordinates. But it may only have like 4 or 5 that it cycles through, or it may always be the same one. Since it shows up in the bottom left corner as the launch coordinates, or as the warp coordinates, I strongly suspect that you have to have seen it in order to be able to do it. Because it wouldn't let me go up the launch tower without the launch codes, even though there's no possibility of me being able to manually enter them. So it's like a checkpoint that the game insists you must do in order to be able to have accomplished that. Which I'm fine with. Definitely fine with that. Come on, bring on the dirt. I mean, there's really only a few things that I know for sure that I have to do. It's possible I've missed something, but I need the beacon in order to navigate me through, and I need the coordinates, and I need the warp core, and I think that's it. I mean, it means I have to have been on 3 different planets. How quickly did I make it? 10 minutes, 24 seconds instead of 8 minutes. Yeah. Alright, so this is like our practice run. Because we managed about the same 10-minute time last time when we did the practice run. The only thing that'll really screw me up is if I'm impatient with the fish, I think. Like, I think that's the thing that has the potential to really mess me up. The game's like, he's making a run at it. Alright, Dark Bramble now. There it is. Wow, we came by that on its closest approach, basically. Alright, let's turn off our headlights right now while I'm thinking about it. Gotta be careful. Yep, there's an anglerfish down here. Oh my god. We're gonna go right by its mouth, too. Don't you dare actually touch that fish. God, he's right there, though. I don't feel like we're moving anymore, though. Ooh, the controller's rumbling. I just barely tapped it, too. It's fine. Level 2. No. Yeah, level 2. Show me what you got. Over here, right? Alright. Rotate. Oh, shit. Shit. We don't really need the autopilot. As long as the cockpit's not draining out my air, I'm okay. We're gonna have to ditch the ship here in just a moment anyway, but I think we've got enough time that I probably could get out and repair this, but we're not going to. I don't, like, seem to be auto-drifting or anything. Like, the autopilot doesn't seem to be, like, pushing me in a weird direction or anything. So... Oh, actually, you know what? This thing might actually make enough noise to be a problem. See how it's spitting sparks and stuff? Okay, hands off. I feel like I should have set an actual, like, kitchen timer or something like that, just to see how fast we're doing this. It would be interesting. Lock on? I don't think so, Tim. I will say one of the other things I really like about this is the fact that I can damage my ship and have to repair it. I'm glad they didn't really go in heavily on that with some sort of resource harvesting system or something like that. There's all these little logical, realistic things that the game could have enforced and didn't, like, where do you get tinned marshmallows anyway? I don't know. But I mean, that's a thing that they could have said, hey, you know, you have to get rock from such and such a planet to make metal or whatever. This game didn't need that. Already had enough stuff going on. Those fucking eggs, though, right? It's just caviar. Or the omega-13. Just a little. Time to go, buddy. Pay, buddy. Interestingly enough, it's not showing me that I know the coordinates at the moment because I did not look at the computer. But we did actually discover them, so I wonder if this will work. Yep. Achievement unlocked, beginner's luck. Which is just, I believe, success. Reach the eye of the universe in one loop. Not bad. Not bad. I'm definitely interested in trying to figure out some more of these other achievements, but I feel like this means I understand the game. So, good thing to know. The time loop is always happening until you break the time loop. We've only ever found 2 ways to actually break the time loop, not to step outside of it. Both of them were causality violations, and they were by stopping a black hole transit when something was going back in time, and choosing not to take our own transit. Both of those broke space-time. Nothing else mattered. Not dying, not anything. We could always resume because the timeline, the loop, was always happening. It was just whether we left the loop or not. I feel like that's confirmed with us and confirmed with stopping the probe from going back in time. So I think I've got a good idea of how the temporal mechanics here work. Bye, Scout! I mean, I guess we don't actually have to finish this run. Unable to pinpoint location when I try and bring up a map. And notice, I don't have the meditate options. I can quit, but I hadn't learned it from Gabbro, so I don't know how to meditate. Wow. Look at all that mess. And we're home. I'm really curious to see what the others will say. We've never met them. Right? We defeated this whole thing in one time loop. But on the other hand, I guess they knew me as a hatchling. So there was always that. Because they're like, oh, hatchling, you launched into space. It's good to see you. But they are not people that we will have had conversations with this time. Alright, I think I have to basically smack the first one to get the others to start exploding. Now I think they'll start to explode. But it could be time. Do you hear that? The breathing? We don't have an instrument, so that's what we're hearing. See, it's us. And the tree becomes a campfire every time that we look away from it. Okay, not really sure why my... There we go. Well. He really doesn't like it. He's not a happy guy. You hear music. All right. Alright, Reback. We've never talked to you before. What will you say to us this time? It may be the same stuff, but I'm just very curious. Look how big you are with your teeny little legs. It's not quite time yet. I'm pretty sure we'll need the others. Okay. So, yeah, they're not too worried about what happens at this point in time. I'm not terribly surprised. Uh-oh. Got off a target a little bit there. Cross old bark. In the ancient glade, it's always dark. Interestingly enough, this seems to be the same poem every time, even though it could be any of like 42 different permutations, and that's what Gabbro was happy about. Light bad. Not using light. What's your problem, fish? I'm not using any light. Maybe it's just to startle me no matter what happens. I think it was. Yeah, I think this would be the same except for him. I agree. We won't have Solanum. Which makes me wonder what's different, but... Guess that's all of them. I feel like by the time you see this, you kind of realize that something's missing here. Or maybe it's for you. I think the music's better with Solanum's kind of piano. But it's still pretty nice. Yeah, the Big Bang music's pretty good. I noticed the last time that we beat it, I still had my probe, so it didn't like go flying through the air, so I fired it this time. Just to see if in the after part, or it says 13.2 billion years later or something, I remembered seeing the little probe fly by the first time. There is no skip for this, so... This may be... Yeah, I think this will be the last run. It's been almost 4 hours. It went kind of longer than I thought it might. But I think we probably have seen everything that we're going to get to see. There's no other options when we get here. Right? We didn't have Solanum this time. We managed to break space-time a couple of times. We ran off on our own. We've died. There's just no way to save everybody, which is fine. It's kind of part of the point, I think. Let's see here. Endings. Eye of the Universe ending, Game Over ending, Isolation ending, Quantum Moon ending, and then there are 2 Breaking Space-Time endings. One of which was Meeting Yourself, and the other one appears to be the High Energy Lab one. So, yeah. We've done all the endings. It says sending a scout back through the black hole. You can basically do the same thing with that for the self-ending, firing the scout through the black hole and then not doing it again. I know that we have not hit 100% for the game. There's a lot of achievements I still haven't discovered that are hidden, and it may take a while for me to figure out what clue I'm missing, some text or something like that that I haven't been able to get. Completing the ship log was probably going to be fairly difficult, but the things that I want to try, there's just not enough, I think, to really want to do another stream of it. Like, I want to see if I can hit Giant's Deep so fast that I plunge through the current, and maybe even down to the core. I want to see if I can land on the sun station, things like that. But I don't think that would be interesting to stream, so I probably won't. So if I keep hunting for achievements, it won't be on stream. We'll do something else. But my intention is to do at least one more stream this week. Try and, actually make sure that I'm doing it all, I guess. Streaming occasionally instead of just basically stepping completely out from it, which I seem to have done. You should see if your computer can handle streaming in VR. I do not know how you would see chat while playing, honestly. But there's got to be something for it. VR chat seems to allow you to be able to do it, but I think it can tie to your Twitch account. Because I seem to recall laughing looking at chat while he was doing VR chat. Depending on how it treats it as an output source, you might be able to use something like Restream, which is what I use for putting chat on top of the game monitor, like when I was doing Alien Isolation, so I could see it without looking away. $14.3 billion years later. If not, there's always text-to-speech. We surely won't abuse that. There went our probe. Whee! What's interesting is it survives, and we didn't notice, since we didn't meet the other buddy, since we did not meet Solanum, we didn't get to see the Mantis people down there at the bottom. Yeah. Alright, so if I'm looking at the achievements that are not hidden, that I haven't gotten, one is from the Hearth to the Moon, which is to land the model rocket on Adder Rock. Without a camera on it, I basically just have to make sure that the Adder Rock has hit the right level over my head, I guess. And then smack into it. And then the other one is Archaeologist, which is to complete the entire ship's log. So I only have 9 out of 17 achievements for it. But I'll figure out the others. Yeah, it was fun, Sealy Bob. Glad everybody tuned in. Boo, good to see you again, Sealy Bob. And then I know that we had King Trash Panda and Jade Oak, and Holly was in here, and Ralphine was in here, and Sir Mally was in here, and did a Flora pop in for just a moment? I think a Flora did. Pretty sure I saw a Flora. So, thanks to everybody for popping in. We'll do something different next time. Have a good night.